Oh, okay. So I have a couple hot takes. So the first one is yes, work with your team. Reiterate that point because it is very, very important. Also, it is just an objective fact that you are going to be doing more than you originally thought. So be prepared to wear a lot of hats and also be prepared to just acquire and learn a lot more than you originally thought. It's Studio One for me. It's all about your mindset going into it. So you can go into it being like, all right, I'm going to do this and nothing more, and that could be it. And if that's all it is, then okay, I guess. But if you go in and say, all right, I'm gonna go learn some new stuff, and so I can use that later on down the line, you get a lot more benefit out of Studio. I've found.
My top lesson I've learned is that you should always accept and offer mentorship opportunities whenever possible, because that's well, not only is it, good to help people, and sometimes you're going to need help, but it's also a really good way to finish learning what you started learning with research, is by putting it into practice, by helping other people with their problems, whatever they're going through, like with code specifically. I've learned a lot by helping other people. I learn more doing that sometimes than when I do doing my own tasks.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, the people on the team are usually got some hidden font of knowledge, kind of like what Josh was saying. They usually know something. Teachers almost always know something. They're subject matter experts for a reason. So ask questions if you get stuck on something.
The strength and cohesiveness of your team is the foundation of literally everything that you do. And that's not the strength of your skills, it's the strength of the relationships and the complete team spirit that you've built as a group. Without that, there's really not a leg to stand on. It is definitely about the people before the project ever becomes on the table.
So my top lessons / takeaways would probably be keep track of what you do and how you do it and just overall thinking on it, because it makes it a lot easier to understand and learn from, as well as if you go to talk to someone about it, you can fully explain it. It's more like an organization thing, I guess.
So specifically in the case of being a lead, my experience has been that good leadership on a team could make or break a team. I've been on teams where leads just didn't show up at all, and the team slowly kind of fell apart, and people just stopped caring about the project or just didn't know how to progress on the project. I've been on teams where leads would show up late, and you could just see the team kind of look demoralized, and once a couple builds look like they're not making progress, the team just kind of halts in progress and feels like they're not going anywhere. And then with this team, we've had a lot of good experience where we have teams that are leads that are always kind of showing up, always responsive outside of meetings within a reasonable amount of time, and always kind of trying to keep the team prepped. And just doing small things to keep your team motivated and just being there for your team and following the same rules you expect your team to follow is going to be a lot more productive, and it's really going to impact your workflow. So if you do plan on becoming a lead, my advice to you would be to make sure you're holding your team to your own expectations, and that you should be pulling your team ahead, not kind of just sitting back and bossing your team.
My advice on this part is to make a kind of schedule or way that you do things every day, so you're always in the same room at the same time of day. It helps when you're not at campus, like with what's going on for us right now. If you make sure you change up where you're at and be for one class, sit in one room, for another in another, it helps keep your mind organized in a way so that you can focus on what you're doing.
Don't be afraid in the beginning to let your team know what you feel comfortable doing. Sometimes a lot of us make the mistake of just saying, oh, I'm very comfortable in one thing, even though you know multiple things. I think it's important to, even if you're not 100%, feel comfortable in doing certain things, if you let them know, they actually can help you grow in that and learn more about the specific subject.
Definitely don't be afraid to ask for help, because somebody within studios, whether it be your own team, a different team, or even the professors, they're going to be able to find you the answer. But whenever you find the solution to a problem, definitely write it down, jot it down. If it's like a video link, save it for later, because if you're having the problem, definitely someone else will in the later future, and that'll be a great way to help them out as well.
From my experience, just not as a lead or just on any team, don't build on Thursday night. I've been there too many times, and it's not a pleasant journey. It was fun. What made it enjoyable was the people there, but it was still difficult for staying up to like 2-3 a.m. just to get build ready for build review that was in like 7 hours. And as a lead, I guess one really puts you in a higher role where communication is a big thing, because that's where the team would look to if they need help, is towards the leads. So always making sure you're there answering their questions, being sure to help them any way you can and keep them on track with their work so they won't start like floating off into space and not getting any work done. I think that's also good to do. And not just as leads, but any teammate should be doing that to anyone.
Never be afraid to ask for help. Like, this is absolutely a team effort. It sounds cliche, but never be afraid to ask for help, especially if you're slightly out of your depth. So that's probably my biggest thing, is just communicate with everybody. If you don't understand something or you need help with something, make sure to talk to people.